Good afternoon and welcome to the June 15, 2023 meeting of the Sacramento Flood Control Agency Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Desmond. Director Frost. Here. Director Hume.
Here.
Chairman Kennedy.
Here.
Director Nava. Here. Director Jennings. Director Kaplan. Director Talamentes. Director Holloway.
Yes.
Director Johns.
Here.
Director Avitis. Director Bain.
Here.
Director Conus.
Here.
We have an 8-member quorum.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting of SAFCA is being broadcast live and will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14 on Saturday, June 17th at 2 p.m. And the meetings will be available on SAFCA's website within 48 hours after the meeting. Thank you.
All right, would everybody join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item on the agenda, public comments.
Our first item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. And I'm going to ask that members, when we come to action items, if you could say your name when you make a motion and second, because I'm having trouble tracking with my visual issues right now, so that'd be helpful. All right, sir.
Good afternoon. Just have a very short Executive Director's Report today, as soon as it comes up here. As you remember, SAFCA is hosting the National Waterways Conference annual meeting this October. We're going to have all kinds of folks from across the country coming in and be hearing from the Assistant Secretary of the Army headquarters and other Washington, D.C. level experts and representatives. I just want to make you aware registration's open, so if any of you are interested in attending, let me or Lindy know and we'll let you get hooked up there. Okay, we did have another bid opening. Mormon Island Auxiliary Dam, part of the dam raise to raise it 3.5 feet. The government bid was just under $16 million, and the apparent low estimate or low bid was about 12 and just under 12.5. So we're still getting good bids, and that should be awarded here in a few weeks. And then finally, because of proximity to the 4th of July, we've got a lot of people gone. We're going to not have an executive committee meeting on July 6th. So that's all I had, if there's any questions.
All right, any questions? Thank you, sir. Takes us to our first item of public hearing, item number 2. Mr. Campbell.
Thank you, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. Jason Campbell, Deputy Executive Director. Last month, we brought forward the proposed budget. Today, we were recommending a budget with some slight changes. So again, for fiscal year 2024, we are making the recommended budget with some slight changes of about $3.7 million in appropriations for some project changes that are going from year to year. So just to recap a little bit, we started this process with the draft proposed budget. We've reviewed that with our Finance Committee. We've done the requisite advertisements and published noticing of the public hearing. Excuse me. We've obviously presented the proposed budget to you last month, and today we are having the public hearing for the adoption of the fiscal year 24 budget. As mentioned last month, the project priorities and the assumptions that we have for our funding revenue sources remain the same. Again, we want to make sure that we have good, solid background and stable revenue streams, as well as stable project plans going forward. So the budget is based on those things staying the same. As we work into the all funds, basically, when we look at SAFCA, we have 4 primary funds. The funds provide all the resources. As you can see here, the project sources are about $111 million. Again, this is a slight change from last month's presentation. You can see the fund balance is carrying forward at about 31% or $34.7 million. As we look at our revenues for the projected coming year, we have about $55 or $56 million in revenues coming from different streams, as well as our total reserve release of about $20.6 million. Those sources provide appropriations for $111 million in expenditures, or the primary function of what we do is projects. And as you can see, we have 71% of that expenditure going specifically to project costs. As you can also see, the provisions for reserve are increasing over the next fiscal year, anticipation for additional project activity in following years, but also salaries and benefits around 3%. Services and supplies for other activities and other things not directly associated with projects of about $14 million. And as we move forward, we're going to see some contingencies. Hopefully, we don't have to use those contingencies, but we want to keep those contingencies in place for projects and other expenditures that may be unknown to us at this time. So overall, what we're proposing is $111 million budget for all four funds. And again, those four funds are made up of the O&M Assessment District, the Development Impact Fee, the Natomas Basin Local Assessment District, and also the Consolidated Capital Assessment District number 2. This is the roll-up of all of those four funds broken down into the different project financing object categories. So overall, you can see the breakdown of each one of those categories, from services and supplies to the salaries, all the way down into the revenue streams that come forward. We can get into a little bit more detail here in just a second on those, but as you can see, $111 million appropriations and funding sources. Our Operations and Maintenance Assessment District acts as SAFCA's general fund. Here we see $9.1 million in appropriations for the salaries and benefits, as well as other activities not associated with the other funds in the project-specific categories. And then also you see some fund balance and other items that are providing the sources to fund those appropriations on expenditures of $9.1 million as well, but also 6.4 of that comes from assessments itself. As part of our budget package, we have to provide to your board and the public the list of our positions, the salaries associated with those positions, as well as the number of equivalent positions that we're budgeting. As you can see, we are staying static at 18.5 positions, and the salary scales are provided. And always a good reminder for us all that our projects are primarily federally supported projects, meaning that we have partnership agreements and local participation partnership agreements with the state. The projects that we fund through the federal government, or our portions of the projects that are funded through the federal government, we encumber about 10.5% of the overall project expenditure, as well as other expenses that we have for lands and easements and right-of-way. So overall, in the projected or proposed budget, the $62.4 million of expenditures are broken down, and as you can see, we have two major projects going forward with the Corps, and your board is very much aware of what these projects are. So we have Natomas, which covers about 51% of our total project expenditures in the coming fiscal year. We have 33% of that going towards the American River Common Features projects. And then there's about another 8% of project activities on the federal projects up at Folsom, as well as some future federal endeavors in regards to the Yellow Bypass planning, as well as maybe some upstream reservoir modifications. So overall, $62.4 million in project expenditures. And then going through a little bit of the idea of what it is that SAFCA is working on. Once again, we have the goal of reaching 500-year level of flood protection. One of the main priorities that we have is to find ways to make sure that we can meet that 500-year by getting additional benefit out of the upstream reservoirs and using forecast-informed reservoir operations. We have studies that we're working with others on making sure that those programs can work, and you can see that for studies and designs for those reservoir ops, we're about $1.24 million in this coming year to see if we can advance those along with our partners. Rick mentioned in his presentation that we have efforts that are ongoing and continuing at Folsom Dam. We still have some joint federal project for the spillway efforts going forward. That project has not closed out. You can see there's a small portion of our budget going towards that, as well as the temperature control shutters to manage the cold water pool at Folsom Dam for a number of activities that take place on the environmental side downstream. And then, of course, we have the Folsom Dam raise, which Rick was mentioning before, where SAFCA's expenditures are expected to be about $1.5 million in the coming year. For the American River Common Features, we have about $18.5 million worth of expenditures anticipated, primarily for real estate and cash towards the Corps' project share. In Natomas, we have $31.5 million for same thing. We are moving forward with real estate, as your board is very much aware. And we also have some cash contributions and relocations that we have to perform on behalf of the project. Then last but not least, we have a number of activities on the Yellow Bypass with additional work to make sure that we can handle all those waters maybe coming down the American or the Sacramento and actually making their way into the Yellow Bypass. So we are continuing to work with our partners, the state and the Corps of Engineers and others, to make sure that these studies and things can go forward with about almost $2 million worth of activity from SAFCA in the next year. So getting into the specific funds, I'll roll through these pretty quick as well, unless there are questions. If you have any questions about any specific lines, I'd be happy to try and answer those for you. But ultimately, the development impact fee this coming year, we're anticipating about $23 million in appropriations to support the projects, as well as some fund transfers into the Consolidated Capital Assessment District Fund. And revenues on under the DIF are anticipated to come in at a very conservative $6.4 million in fee that comes from those development impact fee program, as well as reimbursements and a prior year fund balance of $15.5 million. For the Natomas Basin Local Assessment District, which again is pretty much a pass-through for the bond debt service for Natomas, we have $15 million in fund balance that's going to be transferred to the CCAD2 budget, as well as a little bit of money that goes into making sure that we can get the tax roll, or I'm sorry, the assessment roll squared away. So you see $22,000 in expenditures to create the roll. Overall, we still have some pretty decent reserves in the NBLAD fund that will help us manage some of the Natomas work going forward. And again, CC82, the lion's share of our effort, is located in the Consolidated Capital Assessment District Number 2 fund. You can see $64 million in expenditures. Almost all of it is project related. Specific lines on the revenue side, again, you can see that there are a number of transfers in coming from those other funds, as I've mentioned, as well as in the prior year fund balance. We have about $6.5 million anticipated coming into the fiscal year, but we also have a reserve release as we're pulling from the financial accounts to support the projects. And then, of course, $21 million in state revenues and reimbursements coming in from the state. This is a chart showing the individual projects and the associated funds that are supporting those projects. Again, not much change here. There was just some slight changes from May based on project expenditures that are not anticipated to occur in current fiscal year that are being moved to this proposed budget. So at this point, I would hope we can maybe open the public hearing and answer any questions that your board may have or members of the public.
Any questions from the board? Okay, we will open up the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board at this time on the proposed budget? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved, Conant.
Holloway, second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Are we voting electronically or roll call?
Roll call.
Okay. Please
Director
call.
Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost?
Aye.
Director Hume?
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Nava?
Aye.
Director Jennings, Director Kaplan, Director Talamentes, Director Holloway.
Aye.
Director Johns,
Yes.
Director Abdus.
Aye.
Director Baines.
Aye.
Director Conant.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes with 10-member approval.
That takes us.
Our next items are consent matters, and items 3 through 13 are in order.
Any questions of the board on any item that's on consent?
Move to approve 3 through 13.
Second, Frost.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment on the consent?
I've not received any.
Please call the roll.
Director Desmond. Director Frost.
Aye.
Director Hume.
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy.
Aye.
Director Nava. Director Jennings, Kaplan, and Talamentes. Director Holloway. Director Johns.
Yes.
Director Abdus.
Aye.
Director Baines.
Aye.
Director Conant.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes with 10-member approval.
All right, we will now recess and go into closed session.
Hearing room 2.
Mr. Abdus.
Yeah, I will be recusing myself from discussion related to a few items in closed session on Saturday, 8 p.m., 3516-0002, 3517-092, and 3571, 271-026, and 016.
All right, glad you could join us.
Those are items 4, 5, and 6 for the record.
All right, then we will recess into closed session. Thanks.
you.
Coming back after.
We'll come back to order. Would the clerk please call the roll, establish quorum?
Director Desmond.
Here.
Director Frost. Here. Director Hume.
Here.
Chairman Kennedy.
Here.
Director Nava. Here. Director Jennings. Director Kaplan. Here. Director Talamentes. Director Holloway.
Here.
Director Johns.
Here.
Director Abdus.
Here.
Director Baines.
Here.
Director Conant. Thank you. We have an 11-member quorum.
Thank you. Is there anything to report out, council?
Nothing to report at this time other than Director Abdus was not present in the room for items relating to Sutter County APN 35-260-002, 35-170-092, and 35-271-026 and 016.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Thank you. Separate matters, item 14 is a public hearing, resolution of necessity number 2023075, authorizing an eminent domain action to condemn certain real property interests for the Reach G component of Phase 4B of the Natomas Levee Improvement Project. Fee interest, electrical and communications facilities easement, and temporary construction easement acquisition over portions of Sacramento County Assessor Parcel Number 20101900007 at 7851 East Levee Road, Alberta, California. Property owner Richard L. Driggs as trustee of the Driggs Trust. This item requires a 2/3 or 9-member vote to pass resolution.
Mr. DeGroat.
Good afternoon, directors. Matt DeGroat, I'm Real Estate Program Manager of SAFCA. And at this time, staff recommends that this item be continued for 3 months until the September meeting. There's been some recent fruitful negotiations with the property owner, so we request a little bit more time.
Thank you. Any questions for the board?
So moved. Second.
Okay,
Is
we
that
have
a motion by Desmond and a second by?
All right. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the board on item 14? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Director Desmond.
Aye.
Director Frost.
Aye.
Director Hume.
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy.
Aye.
Director Nava.
Aye.
Director Kaplan.
Aye.
Director Holloway.
Aye.
Director Johns.
Yes.
Director Abdus.
Aye.
Director Baines.
Aye.
Director Conant.
Aye.
Motion passes with 11-member approval.
Next item.
Thank you. Item 15. Public hearing resolution of necessity number 2023076, authorizing an eminent domain action to condemn certain real property interests for the Reach F component of Phase 4B of the Natomas Levee Improvement Project. Fee interest and temporary construction easement acquisition over portions of Sutter County Assessor Parcel Number 35271-021 at 7623 Natomas Road, Alberta, California. Property owners Abed Rashid and Nazrai Abed. This item requires a 2/3 or 9-member vote to pass resolution.
Good afternoon again, Directors. Matt Terrell, Real Estate Program Manager. So as was mentioned, this resolution number 2023-076 for Sutter County Assessor's Parcel number 35271-021 is property located at 7623 Natomas Road on the land side and water side of the Natomas East Mains Drainage Canal, or NIMDEC, West Levee, in the Natomas Basin area of Sutter County, California. Acquisition of the property is required for the NIMDEC West Levee Reach F component of Phase 4B of the project. So here is attachment A to the staff report, and it shows the Natomas Basin reaches. This is for Reach F up to on the right-hand side. This is attachment B to the staff report, which is a sketch showing the levee improvements along this reach, which include cutoff walls, flattening of the landside levee slope, construction of seepage berms, the relocation of utility infrastructure, construction of an O&M road on the land side toe of the levee, and the establishment of a flood control works easement zone or protection zone. And here is attachment C, which just shows where the property is located within the project reaches. So here we have the proposed acquisitions on the property. The red area is the proposed fee acquisition, and just adjacent to that in blue is a proposed temporary construction easement, which is needed for the installation of some fencing and driveway improvements. So attachments E through E3 of the staff report are the project description and necessity for the acquisition, environmental compliance documents, and also some additional design analysis that was done. On March 7th of 2022, SAFCA sent a letter to the property owners advising them that the upcoming project will affect their property. On June 28th of 2022, SAFCA sent a letter to the property owners advising them that an appraisal was being prepared for a portion of their property in fee. On October 28th of 2022, SAFCA did provide a formal offer to purchase the property rights, which consisted of fee interest over a portion of the property and also temporary rights that were required for the installation of the fencing. On April 20th of 2023, SAFCA sent a letter to the owners that clarified the original offer and described the temporary rights as a temporary construction easement and also put a value on those rights. So attachment J to the staff report is a diary of discussions between SAFCA's right-of-way acquisition consultant and the property owners. And then on May 26th of 2023, a written notice was sent to the owners advising them that this board would hold a meeting today at this time to consider the adoption of a resolution of necessity to acquire the property rights by eminent domain. And I will say on this one, there's been some recent interaction with the property owners. However, we have not agreed on price or it's a pretty big delta on that. So because the project schedule requires it, this is why we're bringing this item before you today for adoption and asking for a resolution.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board at this time on this item?
Move it Holloway.
Motion? Is there a second?
Second, President.
Please call the roll.
Chair Kennedy, we need to open the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. We'll open the public hearing. Again, is there any member of the public that would like to address the board at this time on this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Was that a motion by Holloway and a second by Desmond?
Desmond, yes.
Thank you. Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost? Aye. Director Hume?
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Nava? Aye. Director Kaplan?
Aye.
Director Holloway?
Aye.
Director Johns?
Yes.
Director Avidas?
Aye.
Director Bain?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye.
Motion passes with 11-member approval. Item number 16 is a public hearing, resolution of necessity number 2023-077, authorizing an eminent domain action to condemn certain real property interests for the Reach F component of Phase 4B of the Natomas Levee Improvement Project. Fee interest and temporary construction easement acquisition over portions of Sutter County Assessor's parcel numbers 352600002 at Riego Road, Alberta, property owners Sankey 380 LLC. This item also requires a 2/3 or 9-member vote to pass resolution.
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself from this item. I will be leaving the chambers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So noted.
Take your time there, Nick. We got all day. We got all day. We're good. Mr. DeGroot.
Good afternoon again, directors. Matt DeGroot, Real Estate Program Manager. So this item is for resolution of necessity number 2023-077 for Sutter County Assessor's parcel number 35260-002. The property is located on Riego Road on the land side of the Natomas East Range Drainage Canal, West Levee in the Natomas Basin area of Sutter County. An acquisition of the property is required for the NIMDEC West Levee Reach F component of Phase 4B of the project. Again, here's attachment A, which shows all the Natomas levee reaches, and this is for Reach F. Here again is attachment B, which shows a sketch of the levee improvements along Reach F. And here is attachment C, which shows the location of the property as it's within the project reaches. So here we have the proposed acquisitions. The red is the proposed fee acquisition. It's a fairly large area. It's a big property, about 4.6 acres. And just adjacent to that is a temporary construction easement shown in blue, and that is needed to install fencing and for potential driveway improvements. Again, attachments E through E3 of the staff report is the project description and necessity for the acquisition, some environmental compliant documents, and additional design analysis that was done. On March 7th of 2022, SAFCA sent a letter to the property owners advising them that the upcoming project will affect their property. On July 6th of 2022, SAFCA sent a letter to the property owners advising them that an appraisal was being prepared to acquire a portion of their property and fee. On April 24th of 2023, SAFCA did provide a formal offer to purchase the property rights, which consisted of fee interest over a portion of the property and a temporary construction easement that is required to install the fencing and driveway improvements. Attachment I to the staff report is the diary of discussions between SAFCA's right-of-way acquisition consultant and the owners. And then on May 26th of 2023, SAFCA mailed a written notice to the owners. I'm advising them that this board would hold a hearing today at this time to consider the adoption of a resolution of necessity to acquire the property rights by eminent domain. And this slide just indicates what attachments are for that resolution. So for this particular property, due to the project schedule, we are bringing this item before the board today because we have an obligation to certify this to the Army Corps, and we want to do that by December or acquire the property by December to certify it mid next year. So in order to do that, we need to create some surety to make that happen, and adoption of Iran allows us to go down that road to have that surety. However, there have been some negotiations with this property owner, so if it's the board's pleasure that After the adoption of the RON, staff can hold off on filing eminent domain case for 30 days to allow them to continue with putting together their counteroffer to staff. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeGroat. Is there any questions from the board? All right. Hearing that, then I will open the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board right now on item 16? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Hume, I'll move approval.
With the 30-day, the direction of 30-day delay for filing?
Correct.
Okay.
Second comment.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost?
Aye.
Director Hume?
Aye.
Chairman Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Nava?
Aye.
Director Kaplan?
Aye.
Director Holloway?
Aye.
Director Johns?
Yes.
Director Abdus recused. Director Beam?
Aye.
Director Conant?
Aye.
Motion passes with 10-member approval.
All right. Thank you. That brings us to the end of the meeting. Unless there's any burning issues the board wants to bring up, we are adjourned.